So in this video, I want to talk about what are university research parks or commercialization parks. So if you don't know me, I am Professor Dave Massock. I'm Associate Professor of Innovation Strategy and Entrepreneurship. I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There's so many people who help me out that I want to pay the favor forward to help you out as much as I possibly can. So I actually created a sharing economy editing platform. You can go check that out, reciprocity.com. The E is written with a 3. And then there's a huge blog, and as well as so many different resources out there to help you out. All right, so what are university research parks or commercialization parks? This is often where universities will have some sort of research park that is focused on commercializing their research that they actually have. And so it's this sort of moment where there is a transfer of the research knowledge that's being generated and R&D that's being generated to business. But it's not only from the university to business, but it's also from the businesses in the surrounding community to the university. And so there's this, it's kind of like a moment where, it's like when water meets air, for example. It's that layer that connects where the water meets the air, and there's a transfer of ideas, transfer of personnel, transfer of resources between those two things. And they tend to collaborate on both practical ideas and theoretical ideas. And so it's really just a moment where there is a connection between industry and as well as university. So it's really important to think about that. And these are really popular across most universities, particularly in North America and as well as around the world, is that there's going to be some sort of industry research park. And you're going to see that. And then the reason why they're popular is that they're pretty successful in terms of their intended goals. For the most part, they develop new industries often, or develop new businesses, and they're very helpful. And so often what you'll see is that there's job opportunities for graduate students to go in those incubators or those commercialization parks. Sometimes these commercialization parks, that's where I was going, actually have business incubators or accelerators that are into them. And that is where they try to grow a small business. So a graduate student, for example, might have a little business or a business idea, a way to commercialize the ideas that they're working on. And then they have resources there to pursue those small businesses. They tend to they're mixed in terms of their, how successful they are. They're, some of them are better than others, but generally they're pretty okay, where they have these ideas. My doggie is flipping around. Izzy is flipping around. If you can hear the noise, that's what's going on. The most famous example that we have that has really kind of been the demonstrating role model of this is PARC, the Palo Alto Research Center, I think it's called, and that's out of that's Stanford's research park that they actually have, and it works pretty well, and it sort of sparked a lot of new industries and new development that we know. That's basically Silicon Valley was started from that, the whole infrastructure behind software firms in San Francisco. So a lot of universities are trying to replicate that, and they have various degrees of success, but in general, they're pretty successful. You can sort of think that they are helpful. Otherwise, we wouldn't have them. They would be removed out of the university system. So, the biggest tricky thing with these university research parks is that they're hard to balance the multiple goals that they have. They kind of have a research mission, a business mission at the same time, and balancing those things they're sometimes contradictory, and so they have to navigate that process. And the other thing, especially if you're involved in them, is watch out for the political influences that they have, because they tend to be like the darling of, maybe it's the university's president or something like that, or maybe it's a politician, and they are like really into that for whatever reason. So there could be a lot of political influence. So just be careful when you're doing that and navigating the sort of political battles that you might have. And so it could be discouraging for business and basic research from both sides, especially if there's more political influence in there, right? So business might be discouraged, and as well as basic research might be discouraged to go in there. So just be careful in terms of the resources that you're consuming. There's no easy answer with that, but just know that there is going to be political influence with these kind of hybrid models, because they tend to have a lot of money thrown at them from different various governments, because they are effective. And whenever that happens, there's going to be political influence, and you just have to be just aware of that when you're going into it. That's all I'm going to say about it. Just be painfully aware that that is going on, and it's not all perfect, but you can leverage some of that. So with that, hopefully you learned a little bit. Give me a thumbs up, do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.